but what is workforce mix and how can it be optimized? And whoever wants to pick that one up, welcome to start.
Well, Sarah, you've got the data, so why don't you start first in terms of what you're saying?
Yeah, I'll start. I actually have a story to, if you may, I'd like to tell a story on this one because it feeds in really well to this question. I was on a plane traveling for work. Sometimes I can't help you're squished in a tight seat, and I was looking at the person next to me and what they were working on. And it looked like she was actually looking at the same data that we do, which is contractors, FTEs. And I just simply asked her, what is your role? Are you in procurement? Are you in HR? And she says, no, I run a marketing department. And the reality is businesses are having to do workforce mix analysis every day. So how can we make this better, faster, versus it be something business unit leaders have to tackle reactively? Workforce mix is sourcing skills from the right workforce channels that best align to your objectives. I think the channels have evolved to more of from a FTE versus staff to more of a FTE versus staff aug versus services statement of work versus automation. So we like to call it build, buy, borrow, bot, robot. In my experience, services procurement, SOW labor spend is a large category of workforce, but a lot of time is completely overlooked. And it's been a staff aug versus FTE being, looked at. I also think to scale a solution that allows for workforce mix is to make decisions that are data-driven in real time. So using AI and enable the right smarter workforce sourcing decisions proactively versus it being a look back and dependent on a strategy put in place at the first of the year is just simply not scalable. Additionally, I think there's a lot of opportunity for impact looking at the extended workforce mix as well as a first step. What skills make sense to source as staff aug versus through a supplier on a statement of work. And then getting into the FTE versus non-FTE and really looking at when does it make sense based on your objectives to hire from what sourcing channels, but having that data in real time to help drive your smarter decisions and drive smarter workforce mix, I think is where we all need to go to make it scalable and work.
The challenge for us is going to be, how do we get all that information in front of the hiring manager at the right time? Right. And this is where I think we still have a little bit of an aspiration from an industry perspective, because we all know at the end of the day, it's the hiring manager putting in the rec. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And, they often have kind of their natural modes, right? Of, some of them have, well, I have to hire the person because I want them to work for me. That's, I only know how to do that. Others like using contractors, some have favorite, it's kind of all their different paths, but they're normally their normal ones. And so as a result, how do we get that data in front of them at that time? And, we're seeing both sides of the organizations, the full-time, the HR and procurement, all starting to figure out how do we make it, as Sarah mentioned at the beginning, less a cost efficiency play. But I think we're starting at the top at the right places saying, okay, what do we need to do to start thinking about this from a talent availability, right? Whether it's kind of time to fill or cost of time to fill, it starts driving that strategic conversation while the industry kind of picks up and figures out, okay, eventually at some point, how do I get it into the fingertips of the person hitting the buttons?
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting point and really shifting from purely a cost play, which obviously everyone is cost conscious right now and rightfully will remain so for the foreseeable future. But also what is the value? And this is one of the kind of the brass rings or holy grail of HR metrics is what is the value of what is the return on this particular segment?